Welcome to the Time of Your Life, the show where I ask, what would you do if you won a $2 billion lottery? With me today, I've got Jace Paragord, co-worker and friend of mine who I met working at Primo's Pizza.
The best pizza.
The best pizza. My name's Dave Plouffe. Let's get started. Jace.
Hello.
Happy to have you here.
Happy to be here. This is cool. I kind of like... The intro really did it for me, you know? Yeah. I've watched a couple of the episodes, so...
Yeah, it's real.
I'm like on the show now. It's strange.
I want you to imagine about a week ago, you bought a lottery ticket.
Okay.
You went to the lottery office after having checked the ticket and you matched all 5, 6 numbers exactly. You won $2 billion. We're going to pretend that you get $2 billion. There's no taxes. There's no nothing. You're just in the clear. You've got a bank account with $2 billion in it. We're in Ferndale, Michigan. The time is 5:27 p.m.
Okay.
What do you do first?
I probably freak out for a little bit, like maybe a long while.
Freak out. What does that look like in your universe?
Probably act normal, but like mentally freak out.
Okay, so there's a lot going on up there.
There's a lot going on up there. I don't think I would really do much for the first week. Like I might just go to my job and act like it didn't happen.
You just pretend it didn't happen. You just go about your normal life.
I don't think I could handle it in the beginning.
Yeah.
I would just, nothing happened, everything's normal, and then one day it'd just maybe disappear for a little bit, and you'd be like, where did he go? Where
do you think you would disappear to? So, like, let's give it a week.
All right.
You know, you go to your job as normal, and you're just sitting on this information. You're, you know, maybe a little giddy inside, or maybe
100%,
a little.
Yes.
You're just like, none of these people know that I'm secretly a billionaire.
Right. I'd feel like a little bit like an undercover agent. You know, enjoy that bit for a week, and then I would disappear. I don't know if I would like.
Would you tell anyone that you won?
I think I would tell my parents that I won. But I don't think I would tell anyone else. And I would go like maybe 2 weeks to a month on like some sort of soul searching journey.
Wow.
Where I didn't tell anyone.
Where do you think you would go on this soul searching journey? Where do you think your soul is lost?
Oh no.
Where are you going to find your soul?
Deep down in the, pits of hell is where my soul is. No, I'm just kidding.
Could be. Hey, I don't know.
I would
Hell, Michigan?
No. Well, maybe. I wonder if I could do that. I would probably go there.
Soul searching in Hell, Michigan?
Maybe I would start there as like a little funny. But I think I would travel out of the country. I have only ever been out of the country once. I went to Canada.
Just adjusting my seat here.
Yeah, no problem. So
Canada, do you like it there?
I was there twice, only briefly, but it's all right. It's very similar to America, I feel like. So I would want to go somewhere very different. I think like maybe tropical.
Do you currently have a passport?
Yes and no. So it's one of those things where it's like, I know I have one. I don't know where it is, and I am not looking for it. So it's not missing.
Okay. So in this moment, you know that a passport exists with your name on it.
Right.
If the occasion were to arise, you would be able to find it in less than 24 hours?
In a week, maybe. And it might be finding it by getting a new one. But
okay, yeah, some kind of renewal or lost passport.
Passport. But yes, I would have to do that, I assume.
Well, that's something to keep in mind before you book any trips.
Right. Maybe I would do that right away in my little undercover period. Mm-hmm. And then I would go on my trip to like some tropical destination. I feel like Thailand, maybe.
Ooh.
But
what is there in Thailand? I know they've got great food.
Great food. I don't know. Everything I've watched on like online on Thailand, I've just looked at like really fancy apartments that are super cheap.
Oh.
So I would probably try to stay in some sort of like really fancy apartment in some weird city
What makes an apartment really fancy? Is it like a nice view with like a balcony?
Okay, well, if we really want to get into it, with my $2 billion, it has to have a private pool.
Okay.
So like I want like
you want an apartment with a private pool?
Yes, in Thailand, this is like weirdly common. So I've watched a lot of these videos on YouTube, but they have these penthouses with like private pools instead of like balconies, way up in the sky.
Wow.
And they're like expensive. But
I mean,
all
this
that
is
expensive considering things.
Is it the kind of pool that you would like swim laps in? These aren't
Some
like
of them,
Olympics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like waterfall edge over like kind of the side
like
of the
infinity
building.
pool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've looked at these too, and like, you know, it's like $6,000-$7,000 a month, which, you know, for
pennies.
like, right, out of the grand scheme of things, I'm going for it. So I think that's probably my first month. I'd fall off the map for a little bit, and then
a luxury apartment in Thailand.
Yeah,
you're eating great Thai food.
I am eating great Thai food.
Do you take anyone with you? You're alone.
I think I'm alone. I think it's like I need to enjoy the moment and then realize the transition that's happened.
Okay, so let's say, you know, about a week goes by, you find your passport.
Right.
You book a flight to Thailand.
Yep.
And
this is sounding not so safe now that you're saying it.
What, just booking a flight?
Well, just
by
going
yourself? By your lonesome?
going to like a random country I've never been to by myself.
How prevalent is English there?
This is another good question. I have no idea.
I feel like you can pretty much get by kind of anywhere.
I think I could. Google Translate, you know?
Yeah.
I could maybe.
Learn some Thai.
Learn some Thai along the way. Yeah, I think that would be my first stop. I think just to like a relaxation and like a set my head right. Because like everything in your life changes at that point.
So you get an apartment. I imagine you find one online somewhere before your trip. Then you have a flight, and you know you get off the airport, and you take a taxi. How many bags do you take with you to Thailand?
This is a good question. I think maybe one.
Just one bag.
One bag
with some clothes in
essentials. That's it. Buy everything else I need. I don't know if they have Amazon, but I'd look into that first.
I think Amazon's pretty much everywhere.
Right?
But also, if you're staying in a luxury apartment, do these luxury apartments come furnished, do you think? If it's got a pool, I feel like it would have, like...
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Furnishings.
So I think it'd be pretty set. I would go with, like, essentials and then buy whatever else I needed while I was there.
So you get there, you take a taxi to your apartment.
Yes.
You open the door and you say, wow, look, I've got a private swimming pool.
Up in the sky, yeah.
Yeah, up in the sky. Do you take a dip right away? You just swim in the night away?
I swim all the time. Yes. Okay. Yes. I would love to do that. I think I would maybe multiple times a day for that month go swimming.
Do you think you're ordering food to your apartment or eating out or getting groceries?
I think I'm probably more ordering food to my apartment. I'm much more of like a homebody. So I don't think although I'm in a different country, I might spend the majority of my time just chilling there and like, it's just the whole reason for going would be to just like realize a different headspace. So I just need a completely different environment around me. I don't know if I necessarily want to be like out and adventuring and going and seeing the things.
Okay, so you're just totally on the other side of the world.
Yes.
Just so that you can have like a different headspace.
It does sound billionaire-y, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah, but also I can see it. You know, I've done it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when I lived in Hawaii.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, I can't fault you there.
Right.
But like, how do you think, like how long before that gets old for you, do you think? Like, and like, what are your days like? So you wake up, and
I want to get into like more maybe meditating, try yoga, reading books.
So are you doing these things on your own in your apartment, or do you think you're like finding yoga classes, or
I think
like
I would find a
maybe
class.
like temples?
Maybe these are the
like
things
Zen
that I would
or something,
like explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do like yoga. It would be cool to, I don't know if they have like Buddhist, like monks and stuff there. I would totally
probably
go. I would, so yes.
I feel like they're all over.
Right? Maybe.
You can find them here.
Maybe I should do that now. But
right? Yeah. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to go on a soul-seeking journey
right now. So I think I would go out and do those types of things. I would go on little adventures for, you know, entertainment.
Yeah, and see, you know, what the city, or would you want to be in like a city or countryside?
I think I would want to be in a city, but not like a
particularly dense city, just like a average,
like an average city,
city, a village, a town.
Maybe not a village or a town, but like I'm thinking around 1 million people. I know that they have a lot of cities that are
a million's a lot. That's more than Detroit.
Right.
I mean, at its height.
Right. So I guess a big city, but not like a huge. I think they have cities with like 5 to 20 million people.
Like Tokyo or New York or something. Like,
right.
It's not London.
Right. That's a lot. Yeah. I think I would, and maybe I would hire people too, like if there was like trainers or like yoga. Like I think it'd be fun to like have people over to my place to do like a class or something.
Would it be like a private instruction or would you have anyone else?
Maybe I'd have other people. I'm not opposed to it. And then I could like meet some people there while I was...
Yeah, that'd be fun. I've done that a few times. While I was living in Hawaii, there was a yoga class that would meet up at a park.
Really?
And I would go to this yoga class pretty much every week. And I became pretty good friends with the instructor. And later on, like one of the other like yogis, one of the other attendants of this class, opened up her home and was like, you know, I've got this great like studio space, or this great, it was a house with like, you know,
big open area.
Yeah, big open room with like a nice view of like, it was like up halfway up a mountain and they had, you know, big glass windows. And they're like, yeah, let's have the yoga class at my place. And I was like, okay, yeah, like I'll go.
Right. That's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. So you want to be that host. You want to be that guy who with the really nice place. He's like, yeah, sure, come on over.
Come on over, right? Enjoy it. I would, I think that whole, also like, I'd be like getting massages every day. It's just like the whole would be like, it'd be relaxation. Yeah. It would be the main focus. Like,
do you have like a particular like massage style that you like or that you know of?
No, absolutely not. I have no idea. But
because I know there's like deep tissue, there's like Thai massage is a thing. I think that's where they like walk on you.
Oh, well then I'm in Thailand, so why
right?
not? Right?
Exactly.
It's probably going to be the best there.
And then there's like other stuff too where it starts to get crazy and they'll do like acupuncture or like cupping. Have you seen the cupping? I feel like rich people are really into cupping.
That scares me. I see that and it like I know it goes away, but it looks
it's like they take a suction cup on your back and they like and it bruises you.
Right.
It's a bruise.
It pulls the blood out of your skin. Yeah.
But it's good for you for some reason. Or people believe that it's good for you.
And I also heard that like cold plunges are really good for you too. Oh, yeah. So I would get one of those set up.
Yeah. You start doing cold plunges?
Cold plunges. And then I know like red light therapy is good. Yeah. I don't know much about
infrared
this. Yeah. You just like lay in front of like red LEDs and
it makes me think of like a sauna. Do you think you'd want to have a sauna?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So an apartment pool with a pool and a sauna. So you wake up, I would imagine the yoga class is probably in the morning.
Yes.
Or, I mean, you could have like sunset yoga too if you want.
Maybe I would every now and again, but I think in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm not really much of a morning person, so to have an activity in the morning to like get me going would be good.
Do you think you eat like breakfast after that? Or like what do you think your meal schedule is like? Do you have a very regular eating schedule now, or
absolutely
not. You just eat when you're hungry?
I just eat when I'm hungry, and I'm much more of like a grazer. I don't like, I'll have 1 to 2 meals a day maybe, and then I just like snack throughout the day.
Oh yeah, goldfish.
No.
How's the goldfish supply in
I'm gonna have to stay away from the goldfish. It's gonna be a rule. It can't happen.
Jace has confessed to me once before that you have an addiction to the snack that smiles back.
I do. It's a problem. Typically, I can control myself from buying the goldfish initially. If I do not control myself at that point, then I just eat goldfish all day.
I should have had goldfish for you here.
No, it would have been a problem. I already bought I bought goldfish a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I know we discussed this. I have continued to get goldfish now since then.
Yeah.
So I've been eating goldfish all day. I do not need more.
You don't think there would be like a pantry in your apartment just for goldfish? And other snacks?
And other snacks. Every now and again.
Pretzels? I don't
know. I would have to like call up my card carrier and be like, if I buy goldfish, decline the transaction, please.
Wow.
I just no control over it.
I've been really into Chex lately, like Chex Mix.
Yeah.
There's like a spicy one. I get it almost, I mean, not every day, but pretty frequently. It's good.
I've never been a Chex Mix fan.
It's so good.
I apologize for, shaming you on your Chex Mix.
Everyone has their own thing that they're into.
It's just the different consistency of the items within that get me sometimes. Do you eat them okay, here's another question about that. Do you eat it individually, like each
I
piece?
do a handful.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't do that.
Toss them all together.
When I eat Chex Mix, I have to have like the pretzels and then like the little
segregated
square things. Well, look, now that's not what I was going for.
Yeah, no, it just individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the textures, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I like them. Sometimes like I will go for like I really want like the Chex piece right now, or I really want like one of the like little bread chips.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of sift around for them, but then your fingers get all dusty and you're like,
that's part of the game, man. So I think that would be like my first month, and I would go like I would tell my friends that I'm like gonna be away for a little bit, so it wouldn't be like where'd he go, did he die type situation.
Yeah.
But
do you think you're sharing any of your life on like social platforms?
Not at this point.
You're not taking photos? It's all private?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I would keep everything to myself, at least for the first, it's like becoming a new you is kind of how I see it. So like the first week, it's just like keeping everything within my own head. And then the first month, I go to Thailand. I kind of ground myself in this new reality, and I keep it within kind of this small little bubble of like my parents and whatever.
So you're there in Thailand in some kind of city.
Yes.
Do you think you have a vehicle?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I think I would hire someone to be like my personal chauffeur, though.
Like round the clock?
Like round the clock.
Do you think like Uber and Lyft are a thing there, or that's not something you want a guy?
I would want a guy.
Or a gal.
Or a gal, either or.
Yeah.
But I would want someone who is like my personal person while I'm there.
Well, I'm curious about things like that. So like, what is their life like? Are they on call like 24/7?
Maybe I need two then. But yeah,
have them working shifts. Yeah,
right. Have them work shifts, because you never know when it's like midnight and you have the urge to like, I want to go see what it looks like at the top of this mountain and look at the stars.
Yeah.
And I don't want to wait around for an Uber, and I don't want to like.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if an Uber is going to take it. He's like, "Hey, where are you going? We're going to the top of a mountain to look at the stars."
Right. So I think having a driver.
So
would
are
be
there
cool.
mountains? I know very little about Thailand.
I think there's mountains.
It seems it's probably mountainous.
I think it's.
Wasn't there like a volcano eruption there or something? Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
I'm not very well versed in the things I'm talking about here, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's mountains, and I would want someone who's like familiar with the local places and the culture to be on call too. So if I ever have the urge to like, I want to do something, but I don't know what, this is kind of the vibe I'm feeling.
Yeah.
What does my driver know that that's around that?
Are you much of a club guy? You ever go clubbing?
No, not really.
No, not one for the nightlife.
No, homebody.
Yeah.
Not really one for the nightlife, but I think it'll have its time eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if I have all that money. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you'll get pulled into something. You'll meet someone, and then they'll be like,
let's
go to this club.
Right. I think I would do it, but eventually. And maybe once, but for the absurdity of it, like, I'd want to bring more money to a club than has ever been brought to the club before, and do it once and be like, all right, I did it the best. I did it once. I can move on now.
You did it the best. Yeah, no one did it like him.
No, and then it's like this one time
you'll be a legend.
Went to the club with Jace.
It's a myth.
It's a myth. Yeah. It'll be like part of the founding story, the prophecy.
You'll have your own lore.
Exactly. Building the lore.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see myself doing that though, you know? Like just so many ones, and I would want them crumpled up too. So maybe like beforehand I'd rent a factory or like a warehouse space and have people crumple the ones up. So
crumple or fold them into cranes?
Now you're talking. Oh, I couldn't imagine. That's a great idea.
Just pull up with a wheelbarrow.
maybe a semi truck full of cranes.
You have a team of people with wheelbarrows full of dollar bills folded into cranes.
And I would want it to be like waist high.
And so are you just buying like very expensive alcohol? Are you much of a drinker?
Not really even. I do on occasion, when I'm out, if I'm out, but I'm not really out. So every now and again I will, and I would drink nice stuff while I was out for
like
my
nice champagne or
a nice champagne, get something nice, all my little cranes everywhere. And then, and they just fly everywhere.
Yeah. And they probably have like, at the club that you're going to, I can only imagine that they'd have like sparklers or like fireworks or something.
And maybe we tell them to turn it off so we don't light the whole thing on fire, because I want there to be that
usually
many
it's like pre-contained.
Well, if you're swimming through them,
Oh, so
you're
talking like ball pit.
Yes. Why not, right?
Yeah, that'd be great. And know what else is fun? Ball pits.
Maybe I need one of those in the condo or the apartment.
A swimming pool and a swimming pool of balls.
Yeah.
Ball pit.
Yeah.
I feels like...
You know what I could do?
It'd be a strange juxtaposition walking in. Like, what color would the balls be? Because I'm imagining your place is like kind of luxury, kind of like well put together, matching.
All different colors.
Nice stuff.
I would have it like little kid ball pit style.
Okay.
And you know what? It's probably pretty feasible.
Play place.
Yeah. Like, what you do, take all the furniture out of the living room. I just make sure I have one of those like 2-story living rooms with like the balcony that looks over it.
Sure.
With the
you want
stairs.
to slide?
This is too much now for my first month. I've got to chill. Mentally, I can't handle it now that there's a slide involved.
The slide's too much, but the ball pit.
Ball pit is a doable thing.
Okay.
You just build some little temporary walls. You fill the entire living room.
Why is it
gotta
be temporary?
Well, because it's like I'm only renting it for the month, right?
Oh, you're only staying in this apartment for a month.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it's just.
And you don't think the next tenant is gonna want a ball pit?
Probably not. I don't think I'm getting my deposit back either, but I've reconciled with that as well.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine? Hey, come over. We're going to do yoga at my place. Great view. You can chill in the sauna. We'll go in the pool. And then you come over to do yoga in the morning and you're like, this dude has a ball pit in his living room.
That'd be great. Yeah.
And not a small one either.
Not a small pit. Full-size ball pit.
Full-sized.
There's an art installation downtown for a while that was just a ball pit.
Really?
Yeah, and it was huge. It was like an entire like gallery room. It was across from the Campus Martius 1 building. It was like, I don't remember the name of the building right there. It's like 1000 Woodward Avenue. And there's a big like gallery studio space. And they just turned it into a ball pit. And it was called like the Beach Detroit.
Ooh, that's fun.
And you had to like sign up for a time to go, and people would go and like take pictures and stuff. It wasn't very deep, which is probably a good thing. It was like only maybe like knee height.
Oh, but you can't jump in that.
You could kind of like lay back.
Yeah.
And like,
I want to get some air. Like I want to be.
You on a diving board?
Ooh.
Or your ball pit?
That's kind of
sounds dangerous. I don't know what the resilience of these plastic balls are.
Well, maybe you put like some foam padding down at the bottom and then
okay,
you do the
yeah.
Like
have you seen the foam pits?
Okay, now we're getting into it.
Do you want a foam pit or a ball pit? Or both?
Maybe a little combination, like foam pit at the bottom, balls on top, so you jump in, you get the ball pit experience, but you don't hurt yourself because there's foam.
Yeah.
All right.
Now you're thinking.
Now we're talking about the
But
important
now that
things
it's a
in
foam
life.
pit, you could have like a skate ramp going into it.
Maybe. I feel like I need more space now.
Yeah, I was going to say, how big's your apartment?
Right. Might as well just buy the building at that point.
I mean, you probably could buy the building.
I probably could. I don't know if that's where I want all my money to go, but...
Yeah, to a building in Thailand.
Yeah.
Some random...
So
you're only staying there for a month. Where do you go next?
Only for a month. These are good questions. I don't know.
Thank you, driver. It's been an amazing month.
Give them a nice tip. Like, have a good one.
It's been real.
It's been real.
Yeah. Do you use your real name while you're there?
Maybe I do. Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like I don't.
Yeah, why not?
Makes it more fun, right?
Right?
Yeah.
If you had to come up with an alias, what do you think you would want your alias to be?
Ooh. I don't know. That's a tough one. I think I would want a weird first name. I think I already kind of have a strange first name, so I like
Jace
that.
Short for anything? Is it like Jason?
Nope.
No.
Just Jace.
Just Jace.
Yep. So I would want a strange first name and then a very bland last name. So like maybe Williams for a last name. Sorry for everyone whose last name is Williams. But
yeah, it's a fine name.
It's a good name. I would pick it.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Smith.
Right. But I already got that one, so we can't.
Like a strange first name.
Yeah.
Something like Ezekiel.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ezekiel Williams.
Yes.
What's another very kind of like Jacobs?
I would do, for a last name?
Or like Evans or something.
Evans, Jacobs, yeah.
Just take any first name and add an S to it.
Yeah, Thomas.
Yeah.
That'd be a great one. I would do that. I could be Ezekiel Thomas.
You're like, everyone remember Ezekiel, that guy that showed up to the club with wheelbarrows full of folded paper cranes?
That would be great. That might be one of those things that I'm like, we're further down the road and I would put this on social media just for fun.
Yeah.
But I could see myself with that. Oh, yeah. So after that first month, I don't know where I travel. I think like my whole first year would probably be travel. I know that the Four Seasons, I think it's the Four Seasons.
The hotel?
The hotel. They have this thing where you can pay like $200,000 and they'll put you on a jet with a bunch of other people who paid $200,000 and they'll fly you all over the world and you stay at all the Four Seasons hotels.
Wait, every single one? How many are there?
Not all of them, but like it's like
the nice ones, I would imagine.
The nice ones around the world.
Because when I think Four Seasons, no offense to Four Seasons, but I don't think like Ritz-Carlton,
Right. And the Ritz-Carlton is nice. I went to the Ritz-Carlton in New York once.
Yeah, how's that?
It was cool. We had a view of the Statue of Liberty. I was there with my grandparents, so.
Very cool.
Yeah. I feel like someone famous was in the elevator once, too, and I can't remember who it was.
I mean, probably a bunch of famous people would have been in that elevator.
Probably.
But like while you were in
While we were there. Like we were there. And the strangest thing.
That's a very confined space. Like
it is. But they have an elevator person in that like pushes the... It's like... I know in the past you used to have to like
a bellhop kind of, or is that what a bellhop is?
Bellhop takes your bags to the room, I think.
Okay, but elevator like doorman.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
I've seen those places.
And in the past you used to have to like actually operate the elevator, but now you just walk in there and the guy pushes the button for you. It's like peak opulence, I guess.
It's pretty nice. I can't remember if I've told you about Theater Bazaar or if we've talked about Theater Bazaar.
A little bit, yeah.
Didn't happen officially this year, unfortunately, at the Masonic Temple. But usually every year it's at the Masonic Temple. Mm-hmm. And I went, I don't remember if it was last year or several years ago, and there's an elevator there that is like an old school elevator, and they had an operator that was like necessary. I think like it wasn't just a button, there was like a crank or something. Yeah. It's like some fancy switch. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Made me a little nervous. I was like, I hope this elevator.
Have you seen the elevators where you like, it's like open in the front and you step into it and it's like continually moving in like a oval shape?
I don't know.
And you've got to like time it right.
Oh, no.
They don't do them anymore because like obviously.
Like an escalator?
Like that, but it's just, it goes in an oval shape. I don't know. I saw TikTok on that.
So Thailand's your first stop. What do you think second stop?
I'd probably come back home, and that's when I would tell my friends what was going on.
Hey, I've been in Thailand.
Hey, I've had a spiritual journey. Maybe I don't tell them I won the lottery.
Do you think it was a spiritual journey just because you're like doing yoga, or?
I would hope so. I mean, that's the goal.
What exactly? I mean, sure. Yeah, if that's what you want to call it. Like, do you think you will have found yourself in the ball pit? Or like,
I think I will definitely find myself in the ball pit at some point in that journey. But I don't know if I will have found myself at that point. But I will. My hope is I will have reconciled with what my current situation is. Like, this is what life is like now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people, you see they win the lottery and they like buy a giant house and then they start spending money on crazy things. And then, I'll get to that with my cranes and everything. But I think if you don't take time to like realize what's happening,
it can get away from you.
Yeah. So
you want to, stay calm through this experience.
Take it slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so you come back home.
Yeah.
With a month's worth of new experiences, awakenings, spiritual enlightenment and realization.
Lots of meditation, lots of reading.
Visiting temples. Oh, what kinds of things do you think you were reading?
Probably a lot of like financial self-help stuff. So I can have some sort of general sense of, I already read a lot of that stuff now, but more of a sense of like what it means I would read a lot of like biographies of billionaires. Like, what does it mean to have this money? What do these people do?
You're making me think of a meme that I saw once. It said, I went to Peru to do ayahuasca and realized that I should be a business-to-business consultant for like corporate mergers.
Yes.
It's like, that's the vibes that I'm getting here.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm down for that. So I would.
But you want to learn about other rich people?
Yeah.
And like finance.
And like, because once you have the money, it's not like you're magically good at managing the money or making the money. It's like you just, all of a sudden there's all this money. So what do these people with all this money actually do with all this money? You can think about it, you can read about it, but it's going to be a whole different experience to like be reading about it and thinking about it and know that it's there.
Yeah.
It's going to make it very real. So
do you think, at this point, you've only told your parents?
At this point, only my parents.
Do you give your parents money, do you think? Or do they think they ask for money?
Maybe. I don't think I would initially. I don't think that like I want to start off by like, hey, I won the lottery. Here's a bunch of money. Because then it becomes like the expected thing.
Yeah.
Certainly for like holidays or birthdays or stuff, that's when I would probably go like extra crazy with it.
Yeah.
So
big gifts or just like...
Big gifts, probably.
Yeah.
I think so. Because
I think that's the responsible way to do it. You don't say like, here's $100,000 or $1 million.
Right.
You
just
say like,
on a whim.
Oh, you need a house here.
Here. Right. So I think that way, at least in my mind, it sets up some sort of like expectation of like, he'll probably get me something really nice for my birthday or for Christmas. But like, maybe I shouldn't be asking for things all the time. Yeah. So it doesn't feel like, I don't want to feel like I'm going to be bombarded by the people around me for things. Not because I can't provide that, but just because mentally I feel like it starts to mess with you when you feel like,
oh yeah, is
this person around me for
just
things?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to create any expectation of things.
So you get back and then you think you tell your friends.
I think I would tell my friends.
What do you tell your friends exactly?
This is a good one. I think it's going to depend on the friend. So I think some friends I'll be like, look, I won the lottery. Here's what's up. Other ones, for the lore. We're going to make up stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Something that I thought of that I haven't really thought of before is you can also change the amount. You could tell them like, oh, I won $100,000.
Right.
And it's all gone in Thailand.
And I spent it in Thailand. Yeah. You would not believe all the crazy things I did. Yeah. So I think some of them I would just say like, I made a bunch of money, or I won a bunch of money, or I found a bunch of money, or like I went treasure hunting when I was in Thailand. You would not believe what I found. You have to keep this quiet. We're going. And then I would go back there with them and like open up a box in the middle of the forest and it'd be full of gold. And they'd be like, what is going on?
That'd be pretty great.
Wouldn't it be so fun?
Yeah, that would be great.
I think it would be so fun. I think the way I would tell my friends would be in ways of like going on adventures with them where we do something like they don't understand why we're doing it or how this is all happening, but it just feels like life is a movie.
That's a great way to do it.
Wouldn't that be so fun? Because I think it would be great to like take your friends on vacation, but I just want it to be more interesting, man. It's not like here's a plane ticket, we're going to Bali or something.
Your friends would be down for that if you said like, hey, let's take a trip. Do you know people who are able to just like maybe take time off or?
I think I'd have to come up with like some sort of like reasonable excuse about why this trip has to happen and like how we can financially go for this trip.
Say, turn it into like a business trip or something.
Business trip, or like I won a raffle. And I got like free plane tickets and a hotel room and X, Y, and Z, and then like pay someone
hit
to
them with
like
the raffle.
Hit them with a raffle or something, and then once we land, like, side quests, like pay someone to like take us on one of these side quests that lead us down some of this like crazy, like maybe we're taking a plane. I won a raffle for a private jet to Hawaii, except the pilot says we've had an engine problem. We've got to divert to Alaska halfway in the ocean. And this person's like, what is going on? And then we land in Alaska and we meet up with some like Alaskan tribes and go like dog sledding. And people are like, what is this trip right now?
That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Are you down to go dog sledding? Is that something you want to do?
I think so.
Yeah, sure.
Mush. I think so. I don't know.
How do you do with cold?
Well, I'm in Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan, 4 seasons.
4 seasons. I really hate the winter. So
that's the cold one.
That's the cold one. I don't think I would really.
Also, heat wave today.
Yeah, real hot. I was not expecting
it's like 65 out or something. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And, the other day it was like nearly freezing.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Wow.
No, I was happy about today.
Yeah.
But so I don't really like the cold. And I would.
You want to go dog sledding?
I would like to go to like the Iditarod.
Yeah.
I would do that.
You want to like participate in it or just like watch it?
I would watch it. I do not want to like that's
okay.
Maybe if I could like participate for like, I know they do like legs of the race and like you go, I would do like from one leg to the other. Like I could stand it for 6 hours maybe. And then I would need to like get the helicopter. We're going back to the finish line. I want to see when it's done.
Yeah. And that's nice because you've got the luxury that you can just have the helicopter there for you.
Right. Just have it ready to go.
And you want to bring a friend and tell them you're going to Hawaii. Surprise! They've got their flowered shirt and their shorts and
Maybe
their
I do it like
bag.
the other way around. Like we're going to Alaska and then surprise we're going to Hawaii. But who knows? And then they're going to be all disappointed.
I feel like surprise isn't necessary. Either way, it's kind of like, I shouldn't have brought my jacket.
Yeah,
but, like I see what you're saying.
I just want to have like a hangover-esque without.
You're gonna be the eccentric billionaire that takes people on surprise vacations. Like,
why not?
Never know. Like spin the globe. Where we're going?
Right. Like don't fall asleep at my house. You might wake up in a different city.
Oh.
No, I'm not gonna kidnap people. But
that'd be pretty cool though. Or that'd be like a fun thing. Like, look, we're in LA now, or we're in New York now.
Right. I feel like you could do that if you had your own jet too. Like, hey, we're going to go to Miami and then you go to Cancun, or you maybe something.
I feel like there's
more
a
like
lot
that.
of like artists, like big name touring, like world touring artists, particularly like DJs. I feel like who are like just on tour all the time in a different city every week. Like half the time they don't even know where they are. Right. They'll have like management or something that's booking them shows. And it's like, oh, I'm in Tulum now. It's like, sweet. Or like, yeah, right. It's like, oh, it's so great to be here in somewhere in Europe.
Somewhere. What city are we in again? I forgot. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just get shuttled around, so hop on the plane, they go to sleep and they wake up in the next city, I guess.
So you have like at this point, you think you want a jet?
Yeah. Not for the first couple adventures. The first couple adventures...
You're flying commercial?
I'm flying...
First class, at least.
Yeah, first class. For sure. For sure, first class. But I would... And then our little side quests would be like... I would try to like... And here's where I'd get crazy with it. Maybe I would hire like a movie writer to help plan the vacation and be like, all right, you're writing a movie about a crazy vacation that happens in X, Y, and Z. What happens and how does it happen? And then after I hire the writer who writes the script for the vacation, then I hire on the extras in the city. And then we land in the city.
I mean, at that point, just make it a movie.
Yeah, but then I just want that experience with my friend. Like we lived a movie.
Okay. So you don't actually
it doesn't
record.
Need,
it doesn't need to be recorded.
No. Just for the memories.
How do you feel about like, would you ever ask that type of question to like ChatGPT?
Ooh.
Because you're saying you want to hire someone. I know this is a controversial issue.
Right. We're getting deep into it now. I mean, I could. I think ChatGPT is almost to the point where it could probably do a pretty good job of that.
At least that specific task.
Right.
Of like, hey, what would a great vacation sound like?
Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop.
Right. Maybe. But I feel at the point where you could pay to hire the person, hire the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that person will probably use ChatGPT and charge you extra. And
Hey,
you get the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you unless you have them right there in front of you. I don't know. So you've got like a script writer writing you on in excellent adventures.
Yeah.
You're taking your friends on surprise trips.
Take them on some surprise trips, a couple of them, and let the lore build, I think.
Okay. What is the lore building for? Is there like a grand like moment that you're building up to, or it's just like you want to like have a wake of like
I just want it to be like, because it's so unreal, like you win that amount of money and this doesn't happen, like the chances of this happening are so low. It's just like it's a fantasy land. And so rather than making it real and being like, this is how it happened and this is whatever, I just want to continue living in fantasy land. I think that's so fun.
Yeah, that's a good place to be.
Yeah. Maybe I'm going to get completely detached with reality and lose my mind though, but you know, the risks.
Yeah,
so,
the risks people take. But I think if you're traveling, that's like enough to keep you grounded probably, because you get on the plane and you're like, oh, I'm just on a plane now.
Yeah.
Or like,
you know,
and you get there and, you know, you do a cool thing.
Some friends, some family will know what's going on. But yes, I would definitely want to do like, I want to try to think of things that people haven't done before, because you have the money that can facilitate like crazy stuff. So why not do crazy stuff?
Yeah. Are you into like skydiving at all?
I would do it. I don't know if that's something I'm really going to enjoy. I would also do bungee jumping.
You just want to do it, like, even though you don't think you'd enjoy it, just because you think it's like a rich person thing, or because it's like, you don't have to do things that you don't want to do.
I don't think I would enjoy skydiving, but I feel like it's, you know, you have the opportunity, you should go for it. You know, I don't like seafood, but when offered seafood, if I haven't had it before, I'll try it.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I had one friend on and I asked her like what her diet would be like, or how would her diet change after having, you know, accumulated all this money. And she said she's eating oysters for every meal.
Really?
Yeah.
Couldn't be me.
No,
I couldn't do that. But I think that, yeah, I would, in terms of food I would eat, I would try to eat very healthy. I think I'd get like a dietitian and I would definitely go all out in the health aspect of trying to make sure.
Do you think you'd have like a personal chef?
Oh yeah.
Does your personal chef travel with you?
Probably at some point.
Do you have like an entourage, or you think it's just like you, your friend, and your personal chef?
I think I would.
And your pilot?
And my pilot. At this point, like the entourage is already building itself.
Driver from Thailand.
Right. That would be fun too. Like what if like, you know, a couple months later, I just like, hey, driver from Thailand, you want to come to America? Like, let's drive around America. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think that, yeah, I would.
If you were going to drive around the States, would you take like a recreational vehicle, you think?
That
SUV, stretch limousine.
Maybe one of those like executive limos, like the Sprinter vans.
Oh yeah.
It's got like, it kind of looks like a first class plane in the inside.
Like the Mercedes ones.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
That'd be fun. And then have my driver drive me so I don't have to, you know, deal with that, of course. But I think I would enjoy that more than maybe like a whole RV, because then you got to find a place to park it. And you got to deal with like.
Well, you don't have to find a place to park it if you're a driver.
Right, I guess.
Say drive around.
Drive around the
Good
block. Drop me off at the Ritz-Carlton. Good luck. I'm downtown. It's like got to drive 30 miles out of town to go find a place to park this thing.
I mean, I would hope that there would be parking less than 30 miles outside of a downtown area.
Hopefully.
I mean, if the world has turned that walkable,
right,
then I mean, who needs a driver?
Right. And maybe I'll have an autonomous car, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be pretty cool. We're getting pretty close to that. They say maybe like less than 10 years out, or like 5 years.
It'd be interesting. I think it's going to be a strange world when that happens. Like we were talking about this before, but like, what are all the police officers going to do? They can't pull people over if the cars are driving themselves.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't even thought about that. I was thinking more about like, what am I going to do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What are we going to do?
Well, I just won $2 billion, so I don't know about you, but.
I'll start a podcast. Hey.
So, yeah, it's going to be that's going to be a strange reality. What are we going to do with all this parking too? Like, why would you park a car? If it drives itself, it's just going to like keep driving other people. You don't need your own.
Well, I mean, if it stays circulating, but maybe there's like not always people moving. Yeah. It could be like.
Certainly at night, some cars would have to park because like less people are moving.
Like, subways don't need parking lots because they're just always doing their they're just always going.
Until they break down.
Does that happen a lot?
I think so.
Really?
I
feel like they've got that pretty on lock.
I would think they're pretty reliable, but if they're going all the time, I imagine some stuff
there's probably like regular maintenance.
Yeah.
There's probably like maintenance schedules and stuff.
It's probably more like an airplane where they like pull them out of service and fix them up and then throw them back.
Yeah, because they don't want those going down.
No. It'd be a bad day.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like after maybe one adventure with.
You'd come back and settle for a little bit.
Yeah, I'd come back and I'd settle, and maybe at the end of the adventure, I'd be like, all right, guys, like this was fun and crazy, but like this is actually how I did this vacation. I had a script writer, and we like hired all these extras, and like kind of like You've Been Punked, but like. In a good way, not you thought something terrible was happening.
Surprise.
Right. And then I'd maybe not tell them the amount, but just be like, I want a lot of money. Yeah. And so.
Do you think, so far, you had an apartment in Thailand. You've been doing a lot of traveling, staying at hotels. Do you think you would buy a house somewhere?
Yeah.
And if you're going to buy a house, where would you buy a house?
That's a tough one. I think I would buy a house in... Oh, geez, I don't know. I want a house. I just don't know where I want a house because a house is like going to be so much extra maintenance and responsibility.
Been to a lot of states, right?
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite state that you've been to?
I really like Tampa Bay, Florida. I've got a lot of family there.
Oh, yeah.
So
I would not have expected that would be your favorite place in the U.S. Tampa Bay, Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out Tampa.
Shout out Tampa.
I went to Tampa once for a music festival. It was one of the first music festivals I ever went to. Sunset Music Festival in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
Had a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Tampa. I like the weather, the palm trees, and like there's water everywhere. It reminds me a lot of like Michigan. I really like that there's water all around us for the most part. Like it's just comforting for me. I lived out in Las Vegas for a while, and 2-3 weeks in, I'm like, what is wrong? Like I feel like the vibes are just off. I don't feel right here. And then I realized everything's brown. There's no, like all the buildings are brown or tan. There's no green. There's no water anywhere. I'm like, this just doesn't feel like my natural habitat to me.
You got to be like a lizard or something to live there.
Right. And it's so hot. It's so hot. I would love to visit Vegas for like a week or two, but after 2 weeks, I don't know if I'd want to live there just because there's just not enough green. And I really like Scottsdale, Arizona when I lived there, but it, again, it's so hot and there's not enough water. There is a lot of green. They irrigate the desert, but I don't know.
I've heard good things about Arizona. Like I've heard Sedona and like Flagstaff are pretty nice.
Yeah. I think they're nice places, but for me, like, just growing up in Michigan, I feel like I have to be around water, which is why I feel like I gravitate more towards like Tampa Bay because it's just water everywhere for the most part.
And you have like ocean there, right?
Yeah.
Do you like swimming in the ocean or do you like beaches?
I like going to the beach. When I was like a little kid, I used to swim in the ocean. Now I just kind of feel like I'm going to get stung by something. I'm going to get eaten by a shark. I'm going to like get washed out to sea.
I don't think you get eaten by a shark.
I'm going to get like red tide or some sort of fungal.
Like there's like
bacterial things that's going to eat me.
Yeah, ocean's kind of, I suppose, not the best place.
We made them not the best place, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I used to like that a lot more than I feel like I do now. So I think I would get a house in Michigan, a house in Florida, and that would probably be it for me. Everywhere else, I would either like, if I was going someplace for extended period of time, I'd rent a place for the month, or I would like, if I really liked a place, I would get like an apartment or a condo somewhere, like maybe in Europe somewhere, in a city in Europe, I would get a condo in like maybe Brussels or
And you
Berlin.
think you'd be like bouncing around a lot? Like, what do you think your average stay in a city would be?
Probably 3 to 6 months. I really like to travel. And so I think that I wouldn't want to be in one, like it, once I was there for a while, I think I would start to get like anxious.
Yeah.
And be like, especially because you've got all this money and you can go anywhere. It's like, is there a new city I haven't gone to that's maybe my favorite or might be better than this? Like, I just want to check it all out.
Like, what are your like metrics for a good city?
Oh, this is a good question. I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I think
probably like walkable or good public transit for me is
easy
like
to get around.
there. Yeah.
And lots, like a variety of things to do.
Yeah.
Some cities I think are really good at like one thing or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Welcome to Golf Town.
Right.
Like, well, if you don't like golf, see you later.
Good luck. Right. So yeah, I think I would want something that has like a good variety and
I'm trying to think of like the funniest niche
city.
Yeah. There's Toontown. And this is just like a place in Michigan, Silver Lake. You ever been there? There's
heard
like
of
sand dunes, and the whole town is just built around the sand dunes.
Really?
And they do like dune buggy rentals and stuff.
See, it sounds like a great place to vacation, but like,
oh yeah, for like a weekend or something.
Right.
But like, if you live there, it's just
that's it.
You're a dune man.
You're doing what you're doing.
Hey, yeah.
I think that I just want to experience as much as I could, especially in those first couple years. I think that would be my biggest priority personally. And I would want to branch out a little bit and have other side projects. Like I'm not just going to, like my entire life, I don't want to just be like a professional vacationer. But maybe the first year wouldn't be bad.
Do you feel like there are any like charitable causes, organizations that you would donate to or found or like?
Yes. I don't think I would found a charitable organization. I think that
the existing infrastructure is sufficient or
I don't know about that either. I think I don't know if I would be better than the existing infrastructure. And I don't know if the existing infrastructure is all that great anyways. So I think it would be a big hurdle to try to like take on something like that. Not that it's
you
impossible.
just like wouldn't know where to start.
I wouldn't know where to start. Yeah. So I've looked into something called like effective altruism. Like
make as much money as you can
and then find the most efficient ways.
Yeah, efficient ways to do good.
Yeah. And at that point, I wouldn't have to like really make a bunch of money. But if I don't know the most efficient ways to do good, I would probably more focus on trying to have the money make more money.
Yeah, well, I think the like effective altruism, from my understanding of it, is if you're just a guy who hasn't won the lottery,
right?
Like, what's the best way that I can do good for the world? The best way that you can do good for the world is to first make a bunch of money. And then once you have all the resources available to you, then you can create an infrastructure or a charity or something that helps people with your wealth.
Right.
So instead of trying to just like
give little pennies here and there, focus on accumulating a lot of wealth. So you can
the Bill Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation method to charity.
Yeah.
It's like,
but you've already accumulated the wealth at the point where you've won the lottery, right? So
so if you've won the lottery, you've got the money already.
I think I watched
at least a lot of money. It's not quite infinite,
right?
But it's a lot.
It's a lot. I watched a TED Talk about effective altruism and like the most effective ways to give, and it talks about how mosquito nets for malaria is like the lowest cost thing that saves the most lives.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's like less than $1 per life, or it was less than $1. I can't tell. I can't remember if it was like 56 cents or if it was $5 and something, but.
Okay. Here's an evil billionaire question.
Oh boy. Okay.
Do you think that saving lives is the most efficient good? I'm not saying don't save lives.
Right,
but
right.
Like,
I know you're not, it's not like actively hurting people, right?
But you have to take into account like quality of life.
Right.
You have to take into account, possible overpopulation, environmental factors.
Yeah.
You know, but like for just saving lives, that is a good start.
Yes. I do think that it is a good start to save lives or improve the lives of the people that are already here. I think a lot of people are maybe in the wrong place on the earth, which is a struggle.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people who like, this is kind of strange, but I watched a,
Yeah, we don't deal with malaria in Michigan.
right. I watched a,
but also you can't just move everyone to Michigan.
you can't move everyone to Michigan. I mean, you could move a lot of people to Michigan if you really wanted to.
Yeah, if you wanted to have like super dense cities, I suppose you could do a lot of stuff, but not
lose-
everyone's going to want to go.
No. So that's a much farther reaching problem that I don't know if the 2 billion could address, but
Yeah.
I think, I would definitely, I think the first part would be like malaria nets to save as many people as possible who are already here.
Are there like specific countries, do you know, that is like...
I think it's primarily sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay, that's what I imagined.
Yeah. So I think that's from what I know right now, that's probably where I would start with things like that. And then...
I've heard wells are pretty important.
Yeah. Providing water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Malaria is more of like a staying alive from disease type thing. And then once you're like, don't have to worry about disease, you're going to need food and water.
Yeah.
And shelter. So, I mean, these are all really important things. I think that although $2 billion goes a long way towards something like that, if I were to like donate everything, right? But it's not going to solve the problem. And so I think maybe the more effective way to use
systematic problems.
Right. Maybe a more effective way to use funds and maybe a less conventional way would be to create some sort of organization that influences the system or the thought process of the people who are within control of like world governments or things like that to maybe push the idea that this is more important, So
you want to start influencing world governments.
It does sound evil billionaire now that you say it.
What?
But to benefit humanity, I would hope.
Do you think
it's a little bit crazy though?
Well, here's the thing. Do you think that world government leaders, do you think that is not already their goal? I would feel like if you get to the position of being a world government leader, you would have to at least act in the illusion that you are trying to do the most good for the most people.
Right. So I was thinking about this, right? Like we in America print the dollar. We just make it up out of thin air. So if solving
the dollar is backed by faith,
right?
Previously backed by silver and gold,
right?
But no longer.
No longer. So if we can just print however much money, clearly solving world hunger isn't a donation amount.
Well, that's another thing too. Yeah, like
because we could just make the money.
I mean, money loses value at a certain point.
Right.
There's a reason that it can, retains its value if you just start printing more of it. Like I could, buy a bunch of printers and you could start your own currency in theory. And I've thought about this a lot because I'm like, imagine you just start like a Dave & Buster's.
Yeah.
And they've got their little swipe cards.
And those points are worth something.
Those points are worth plays on the, different like pinball and stuff.
And at some point there's a conversion.
And there is a conversion, but what if, Dave & Buster's now has gas stations?
Oh gosh, Dave & Buster's takes over the world.
Hey. And I was thinking like, what's the first thing that you start? It's like, okay, this gas station only accepts Dave & Buster's points. And at what point do you start paying your employees with Dave & Buster's points?
I think it's possible.
So it's like the value doesn't come from the currency. The value comes from the, the good or the value can be created in lots of ways. From producing a real value or a real good or a real something.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but we could print infinite amounts of money if we wanted to.
Yeah.
So I don't think money is the issue that is the limiting factor on solving things like world hunger or housing all people, even in America. Mm-hmm. Like we could print.
Also, I don't know that everyone wants to be in houses. That's like it's a very interesting kind of niche issue, and you look at things like I believe in Tokyo, there are apartments that people will live in and pay a lot of money to live in that is just a bed.
Really?
And it's like you have very little room for any possessions. Like you don't have anything. But the reason is because people are living their life.
Right.
Where they don't need an apartment. You know, you go out into the world and you eat at restaurants and you support the economy and you go to your job and you create your goods. And then when you go home, all you do is sleep, because when you wake up, you go and you participate and you intermingle with the, you know, with the people and your families and stuff.
Right. You're more of like you live your life rather than
you don't
being in a dwelling.
Right. Like not everyone needs to have, you know, a mansion when there are public squares and public events where, you know, hundreds and thousands of people can be entertained and taken care of. You know, you have a coliseum or a stadium that houses 100,000 people. Everyone stays there for the whole day. They're not in their houses. Now you just have like, you know,
it's empty. It's unutilized space. It's not efficient.
Exactly. But also not everyone wants to go to, you know, baseball game every single day.
Right. Me, homebody. I'd be like, oh, all I have is this bed. Oh,
yeah.
I wouldn't want that. But I do agree that there are probably a lot of people who wouldn't mind that. And
like communes and stuff. Like I've lived in houses with, the most I ever lived with was 7 other people. So 8 of us total. And it was great. It was fantastic. Yeah.
I don't know if I would purposely want to do that, but I wouldn't like, again, here's my thing. I'd try it.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, why not, you know?
Right.
But I feel like I wouldn't like it is how I'll approach that. Haven't lived with a bunch of people. I've typically had like 1 or 2 roommates, and then usually like last many years just lived by myself. So I think that I would, but I'll try it. I don't know. Why not?
Do you think you would develop any eccentric hobbies?
Oh yeah.
And like, or even like regular hobbies. Like you could be a gardener, or you could collect stamps, or.
You know what I really like?
What?
I really like those little tables that have sand on them.
Like a Zen garden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would want like, okay, here's a couple things. All right, now the wheels are spinning.
Okay, yeah, cogs are turning.
Yep. I'd want a super awesome aquarium.
Ooh, okay.
Like
private aquarium, public aquarium?
Private aquarium.
Okay.
Like I might want like an aquarium room, but like
probably gonna,
the walls are the aquarium.
Yeah.
All the walls.
Okay.
I think it'd be so cool.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the zoo?
Yeah.
Do you know that tunnel they have? You want something like that?
Yeah, but like
a glass tunnel that is like 360, well, more than 300, like every directional just aquarium.
Yeah, something like
exotic
that.
Fish, or like what kind of?
I really like
octopi, jellyfish.
Ooh, maybe. I really like they have like the aquariums that are like self-sufficient, like tanks where they don't like need filters and all that, and they have a bunch of plants in them and stuff.
Oh, an ecosystem.
Yeah. That's what that word is.
You want a rainforest.
I want to build a little mini ecosystem, like a
terrarium?
Kind of.
Like an aquatic terrarium.
Like an aquatic terrarium, probably, yeah. And I would, like a huge one. And then little Zen garden would be awesome.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Yeah. I don't know
if that's just like a temple space, or like, so let's say, you know, you go set out on this project.
Yeah, at this point I'm probably building a house, because I don't think I'm finding this anywhere.
Hey, you never know.
Maybe.
You know, there's some crazy stuff out there. I was actually just thinking, when I was very young, I went to a private school, and one of my classmates was the son of a professional football player. Yeah. And they had an aquarium in their basement. Ooh. And it's like you describing that. I was like, oh yeah, I've seen a place like that. Yeah. Like not quite on every side, but like pretty close.
Right. They make some really cool ones.
But so you want to have like an aquarium with like a Zen garden.
Yeah.
So let's say, you know, you go off and you find all the people that you need to talk to, or you find this place and you buy it, you know, you go through all the agents required. Yep. How much time do you think you spend there? Do you think you invite people to just like hang out and do yoga? Like, do you do your morning meditation there? Like,
that's a good question. I think I would spend 3 to 6 months. Like was talking about earlier, there probably a year and spend time elsewhere. But I would probably open it up to have like my friends who live in that city can stay there too.
You have like a list?
Not right now, I don't.
But like you would create a list
Yeah.
of like, these are the people who are allowed
to stay here.
Yeah. And then do you have like someone that you've hired as like security to just like hang out there and like let people in?
I'd probably have like
You could have
security.
like a code gate, I guess.
Yeah, I'd probably have like security, and I would keep my chef there. So like if anyone's staying over, like have food.
So the chef lives there, and the chef
would
can
live
just live there.
Yeah.
In this amazing place.
And then sometimes I'm there, and when I'm there, it's like, if I want steak, please make steak or something, you know. But
are you a big steak guy?
I guess so, probably. I don't know what a big steak guy is in your opinion.
I mean, someone that likes steak. I don't know. Yeah, I worked at a steakhouse.
Yeah.
You know, I've been vegetarian now for like close to 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Maybe like 3 or 4. But I worked at a steakhouse and I was eating filet mignon every single night.
See, that's fancy.
Yeah. And it was cool. It felt good, but I felt like it was giving me nightmares. Like that much meat is not good for the soul.
I don't know if I would want it, not like every night type of situation, but every now and again I would. And
it was like 4 days a week, not every night.
Yeah.
Still
that would be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably do a larger variety of things food wise if I actually had a chef. Because I don't think I'm that great of a cook anyways. So
do you have any favorite like cultural cuisines?
I don't know. I like a couple dishes from just about every different kind of thing. I don't really have like I really like this culture's cuisine. I do like Mexican food a lot, I will say.
Mexican food's really good. Italian food has a lot of staples. Thai food.
Chicken Alfredo. Good. Right? I do like Thai food. So like that's where we're going right at the beginning there.
Right.
So I think I would open up my house. At least I would try it. I think eventually I see some of these things where it's like people who have a bunch of money are like, it's too overwhelming to always have people in my house.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a chef and people are coming and going. And
I was just thinking in a house like that, you could have like an apartment in your own house.
Right.
Where it's like, this is my private apartment.
That's an interesting concept.
My house that is like semi-public just to my friends.
It's like a personal bed and breakfast almost.
Yeah.
And I have my own little apartment. Yeah. Okay. That
sounds
maybe
nice.
I live in the guest house. Like it's a giant mansion and then I live in the guest house and that's my house. Okay.
And your guests stay in
the big house.
Yeah.
Because why not? Like, why would I be by myself in that giant house? Like, might as well have everyone over and enjoy the big house with all.
Right. You know, the big house is the name of the football stadium for University of Michigan.
Really?
Yeah. So as soon as you said that, I'm like, let them enjoy the big house.
Enjoy the big house.
Play ball. Wrong sport, but close enough.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's kind of the, in terms of like possessions, I'd buy some real estate. I'd get some cars.
What kind of cars? You have any dream cars?
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, well, we've talked about
this a little bit.
Let's see.
I'm a bit of a car nut.
Bugatti?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd get a Bugatti. And it was funny. You mentioned a Bugatti with, who was on the last?
My friend Corey?
Yes, Corey. Yeah. And he's like, no.
Oh, yeah. No.
It's so funny.
But he's a car guy, too. He's, he's like an actual engineer. So
yeah,
he knows all about them.
And it's from listening to that, it sounds like he likes more of like track focused things.
Yeah.
I really like the Bugatti because from what I've heard about it, I don't have any experience.
Right.
Hopefully one day, but it's like a really good like grand tour type of car, like GT car. So like long drives.
Oh, okay.
So that's what
like
I would want to
do. Cross country?
Right, cross country, or for like I'm in LA and I want to drive to Vegas, like 4 hours there.
Autobahn or something.
Oh, yes. So that's kind of what I'm interested in terms of that car. So I think I would get one of those. I definitely have a Tesla.
Oh, yeah? You into Tesla?
I'd get a Tesla. Yeah. Really like those. And then maybe a couple other cars at like ranging price points.
This is one that I forgot about when I was talking with Corey. How do you feel about like Rolls Royce?
I think it's
like
cool.
A luxury car.
Like
you can have like sports cars, you can have like supercars, you can have luxury cars, you can have race cars. There's a lot of different
types,
kinds of expensive cars.
I would why not, right? Maybe. Yeah. I think it'd be fun I might like it, I might not. I think that I would want to have like a whole collection, but I would collect things that like I find really interesting. And if I don't find a Rolls Royce really interesting, because I don't think I'm going to be driving as much, if I have a driver, or if I have, then I might have it to have it, but I don't know if if I would keep it. Like I would buy it and then I drive around and be like, well, I've experienced this, and
you just rent it.
Well, that's probably a better idea at that point, right? So yeah, I think that's kind of how I would go about it.
I really think if you're going cross country, you're going to want an RV.
Maybe. See, okay, so my aunt,
You've experienced the RV?
I have not experienced an RV, but she's told me about how this went. So they rented their house out for a year.
A year? Okay, a year is a long time.
And drove.
I was thinking like a week.
Oh, okay, yeah, for a week, sure.
Or maybe even a month.
But a year? But a year, yes. Rented the house out for a year and then hopped in an RV and drove all around the country.
Wow.
And sounds fun, but like parking.
Sounds stressful. It sounds very stressful, yeah.
Like, where are we going to go? And like, do we like this spot? And are we going to go to the next one? And like always moving and always moving with everything you own too.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of like, if I had an apartment in one city or a house here, like I have my setup in every spot. And so I just move myself. I don't have to move everything with me.
I mean, maybe if you spend enough time in your Zen Guardian aquarium, you'll just release the idea of possessions altogether.
Right. I'll be like, and maybe it goes like that. Maybe it's just like, you know what, I need a small little place.
The spiritual awakening in the ball pit. You'll be like,
right. Oh. I have my own little moment there. And, you know, it's all possible. I think that these are the things that like, these sound like the first couple years to me.
Yeah.
But that's money that's going to last, hopefully, like the rest of your life. And so what does your older life look like? Like, I don't know. I feel like my brain right now can only comprehend the first couple things.
Yeah, it's tough to look more than like 5 or 10 years into the future. Because it's like, how old are you right now?
26.
26. So like when you're 40.
Right.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, do you think you'll have like a wife? You want to get married? Or
I think that
kids?
I would definitely want kids. I don't know if I would want to, like when I would want to settle down. I think sometime in my 30s maybe at that point. But I think that it's at least for like, especially at that level of money, I would want to have like 5 years to like just experience life before I even really thought about that. And I do want to go to space too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I would definitely be like, sign me up, take me on the rocket.
Yeah, I think like Virgin Galactic is pretty close.
Yeah.
Or they may have already done it.
I think they've started with their like,
same
first
with SpaceX.
couple.
I think SpaceX is like very close, if not having already done one. I remember they really wanted to get like William Shatner, and he's like, screw you guys. Or
He did want to?
I don't remember if he did it or not.
Oh.
But they're like, come on.
I would definitely be like a space tourist. I think it's really interesting. And I would also say, and now
they kind of just, I think right
life,
now they just like pump you up there and then you kind of like come back down.
Right. You just kind of like float around for a little bit and then you,
yeah,
it's not all that like,
it's not like you're actually going anywhere.
Right. But I would go, like when we talk about like 45, like maybe I go to Mars. Like if we're doing it.
Oh, Mars colony.
Yeah. I'm like excited about the whole Mars colony thing.
Yeah.
I really think it's kind of like, you know, the settlers left Europe and like founded America. Now there's a lot of bad things that happened in that, so we don't need to get too deep into that. But
well, there's no one on Mars that we know of.
Right? So hopefully we don't repeat that part of those things. But I think it's interesting because it's like you look at what came out of that. Oh yeah. You look at what came out of settling America, and at least for the Europeans, it seems to have turned out pretty well for us here. And I think it would be interesting to be a settler on a different planet.
That would be quite interesting.
And certainly with
resources would be interesting. Like you're starting totally from scratch in a way. And like, you know, they gotta send people who are like very agreeable. I feel like you don't want to be getting in fights up there.
Right. Maybe I do. Like, you're gonna conquer.
You get up there and be like, "This is my planet.
Welcome to my planet." Yeah. Me and all my little cranes everywhere.
Did you just call this planet Mars? I thought we agreed the name of this planet was going to be Jace Land.
Yeah. I would be so down for a trip to Mars. And I know in the beginning, like, it's not really going to be accessible to the average person. So if I definitely had all that money, hell yeah, sign me up. And I think it's going to be like...
What do you think activities would be like? Like, once you get there, is it just like cooking and surviving?
I think at least for the first while, it's going to have to be. Like, there's not really going to be any entertainment.
Like cornhole, bring...
Right?
I don't know. Some juggling balls or something.
Jumping, like less gravity.
Jump rope? Yeah, I mean, how quick does that get old, though? Jumping?
Well, maybe we bring the ball pit to Mars. So it's jumping into the ball pit on Mars.
Also, isn't Mars higher gravity?
No, it's less gravity.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought that's just the moon.
No, the moon and Mars, I think, are less gravity.
Okay, I'm not sure.
I think so.
I'm not going to, like...
You want to fight about it? No.
No, we can look it up.
But
for some reason, I thought Mars was bigger.
I think Mars is smaller, like slightly smaller.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I would definitely go to Mars, and I think that'd be interesting. I think that it would be like a reset too, because it'd be 2 years, and especially if I did this like post winning.
How long does it take to get out there?
It takes 18 months to get there.
Oh wow!
And it's a 2-year cycle because the planets don't like align again. So like once it goes,
so you
past,
gotta wait for your jump.
You gotta wait. You're stuck for 2 years. So it's like a 4-year.
You can't miss it.
Or no, 6 years, right? Because it's 18 months there, 18 months back. Yeah, and you can't miss it too. If you miss it, you're there for another 2 years.
Wow.
So this is a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it would be good, to like, especially because at that point, like having all that money doesn't really matter. Like, yes,
it's not going to matter at all.
Right. It would take a bunch of money to like initially get on the trip, but once
Might
you're
as well
there,
have Dave and Buster's points.
Right. The money doesn't matter out there. You're just going to be working to
What do you
set
think?
up.
I mean, how many people do you think are going to be there?
Okay, so Elon Musk says he wants like 1 million people on Mars in some city.
1 million?
1 million. Like he wants to build like a whole city.
Wow.
I wouldn't be the first 1,000, but I could see myself like after 10,000 people are there. Okay. Because then I feel like some sort of general infrastructure has been set up.
Yeah, hopefully they'll have like food figured out.
Right, so like food, shelter is kind of figured out, and then it's more of like continuing the build of things.
So Mars doesn't have like an atmosphere.
No.
Right. So it's like it's all going to be like
tube or like bubble
tunnel,
maybe? Underground. We don't really know yet.
Yeah. I mean, you still get like sunshine though.
I would hope so.
Right?
I would think.
What's a day like on like how long is a day?
I think it's pretty similar to Earth.
Okay, that's what I was imagining.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'd be down for that.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I'm kind of at the edge of my, like, I don't know what to go. Like, okay, so you go to Mars.
So you go to Mars.
You have a whole time.
Yeah.
You help set up civilization there. You think you come back? Do you have kids? So that's around the time you want to be having, you don't want to probably have kids on Mars.
Don't want to have, I wouldn't want
Mars ain't the type of place to raise your kids.
Maybe this is like a 30 to 35 type thing. So if I won the lottery today, I'd spend my first
like 10 years,
4 years, like messing around on Earth. And then the next 4 to 6 years, Mars.
So you go when you're 30?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Hopefully that's available. I don't know if that's going to be a thing.
Okay, so you go to Mars.
And I come back.
You help set up civilization?
Yeah.
Or like...
Maybe I stay. I don't know. I have this weird feeling of like it's going to be like the next America for some reason.
You think that's a good thing? Or like...
Oh, that's a... I didn't think about that. I
would say right now, at least from my perspective, which is, I do not watch the news. I actively avoid news.
Yeah.
My goal is to not know who wins the next election.
I'm going to have to try real hard to like...
I'm sure it's going to be spoiled like in the first day, but I'm still going to try. Like things to me seem all right.
Right.
A lot of people would disagree with me. I would say probably most people would disagree with me. They'd be like, things are terrible. But to me, things seem all right, just from my own like personal experience.
Yeah.
Maybe that's privilege, but who knows? I work very hard. And I do a lot of stuff, and and that's kind of like, if I had to describe my experience of America, it'd be more meritocracy than democracy. Democracy gets bent pretty easily.
Yeah.
Like,
I think, I don't know how deep you want to go into politics here.
Not that deep.
Okay.
But what were you going to say?
I think that we are.
Do you think Mars needs a dictator?
I hope not. I don't think
not
so.
A dictator, monarch.
That'd be fun. Maybe I become.
What's the difference between
Mars.
a dictator and a monarch?
A monarch is typically like comes to power through like the bloodline of like being related to the previous person in power.
Nepotism.
So, yeah.
That seems
Where
worse.
A dictator is like they take control.
Is that like military power?
Yeah, kind of like take control of a company or country. Pretty much the same
What's
thing.
What's the difference?
Right. So I see going to Mars as kind of like feeling like one of the founding people of like a new type of civilization. And hopefully I feel like one where you take the best ideals of what I feel has worked in America and implement those more without having the bureaucracy or the added kind of drag of 250 years of like
mess
gunking up the gears.
Technocracy is cool.
I've been back and forth on this. Like every now and again, I think like, oh, it could be great. And then I'm like, sounds like a great way for it to be like everyone controlled too, Maybe
that's what the people need.
Oh man, we need to do your episode where you win your $2 billion.
I know people have been asking for it. I don't know. I'd say like, I would kind of do a lot of the same stuff that I've been doing.
Yeah.
I would definitely travel. I would definitely buy a house, have extravagant parties. I would probably go to a lot of music festivals.
Yeah.
That would probably mostly be my life, is just like recovering from music festivals and preparing for the next music festival.
Would you like make your own music festival?
Probably. Yeah. I would definitely like buy a piece of land, convert it into like a crazy stage. I've also thought about like, crops and stuff like
corn.
Corn.
Corn's in everything.
Corn.
I know. Yeah.
Corn, sugar. I like the idea of like sugarcane, beets. Like those might have to be on different farms.
I'd probably try to grow my own food too. If I had that much money.
From Mars, you probably you're gonna have to.
I'm
potatoes.
talking about earlier.
Isn't that how Matt Damon survives?
Yeah. Earlier than the Mars trip, I would try to grow my own food.
Your own food.
Yeah.
Just like vegetables and stuff.
Vegetables.
You think you'd get into like livestock?
No.
Grow your own steak?
No.
No,
I want to be detached from that. I already...
Yeah, I don't have the stomach for it.
No.
I mean, that's why I'm a vegetarian now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see myself. 2 years ago, I was like vegetarian-ish for a couple months, and then I was like, it didn't really stick. But...
Yeah, I was just talking, another one of our coworkers. I've been without cheese for close to 10 months now. It was my New Year's resolution to stop eating cheese.
Yeah.
And I was like... He's like, well, are you going to start in the new year? I was like, I don't know. Maybe.
You're on a roll, right?
Yeah. I was like, might as well keep it going.
I don't know what I would do without cheese because the goldfish, man, they would get me.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I was thinking, too, because I was like, man, goldfish sound pretty good. I'm like, dang, cheddar.
Yeah. Do they make pretzel goldfish? You could have those. It's not really the same thing.
Yeah, it's not.
Just a pretzel
shape. Pretzel at that point. I mean, I like pretzels.
Yeah.
We've been going to close to an hour and a half now. How you feeling? You want to keep going? Or?
I'm feeling good. If you want to wrap it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go too much longer just because I don't know what the memory capacity. If it's much longer than an hour and a half, I'm not going to be able to upload it just because my computer's not good enough.
Nah, no problem. I think by the point where I'm traversing different planets, we have reached
you did good
maximum span.
You had a ride.
Things.
Well, do you have any final words of wisdom for the people, or any things you want to say?
Oh, geez, I wasn't ready for this question. I don't know. I don't know what's on my mind. I guess it's good to try new things, which is kind of the approach I took to this conversation of like, go with the vibe and then just try it.
Yeah, try new things.
So that's going to be my my closing statement is try something new and do maybe some things that you don't think you'll like, because maybe you'll like them.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. Try something new. This has been the time of your life.